What are some of the 5 things that will make your home unsellable in today's market?
When it comes to somebody wanting to spend their hard-earned money on a house, they question these things.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that buyers notice when they walk into an outdated house?
The first thing that they notice, honestly, is...
Welcome to the TNT Real Estate Podcast, where we spark conversations that set you up for real estate success. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Tanya, and each week we bring you expert tips on navigating Northern Ontario's real estate market. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we've got the tools to help you thrive. Welcome to the TNT Podcast, where we unpack real estate trends with a Northern lens. I'm Tanya, and I'm happy that Tyler's with me today. We've missed you, Tyler. Where have you been?
I've been on vacation.
Vacation.
Eating lobster on Prince Edward Island and hanging out with the family.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, we totally missed you. Although the podcast did not go without content because I had a podcast with this very special guest.
Excellent. That's good. Very
You'll
good.
see it next time.
Yep.
Awesome. So today we are going to be talking about a very important topic: how to make your house unsellable. Maybe not how to, but how to not make it unsellable. So what are some of the 5 things that will make your home unsellable in today's market?
So, I'm going to cut in here, but basically it's not always the price and location that makes a home unsellable. It's these little things that the sellers and sometimes realtors often overlook. And it's just most of it is the feeling that you get when you either pull up to the house or when you walking through the house. It's all about the feeling that the buyers get. And as we go through the houses that we're going to list, we're always thinking about when somebody walks through this bedroom or walks through this kitchen, what's the feeling that they're going to get? If it's going to be, oh my God, what's that smell? Or, oh my God, what did they do with this? It's obviously usually doesn't lead to an offer.
It can be difficult when you've lived in your home for 10, 15, even sometimes 20 years, that you don't see the things that buyers will see immediately. It's your home, you're comfortable, you love it, you have friends over. It's been a great place to raise your family or just to live for the last many years. But it's our job to sort of look at it from a different perspective and help you see it from that buyer's perspective. Okay, so our very first item is the first thing you see when you walk up to a house is the curb appeal. So poor curb appeal can definitely be a deterrent for most home buyers.
Yeah, so as even before sometimes the showing, when somebody's just driving by the house and they're like, oh my God, look at the flowers, look at the care that somebody has taken in the outside of this house, this inside must match, and it usually does. And so curb appeal could be, cutting the grass, could be planting some new flowers, could be painting the front door that's been bashed by kids and dogs for the last 5 years. And it could go all the way to, if there's vinyl that's chipped, if there's paint that's kind of peeling off the brick, there's all sorts of things that could lead into curb appeal, but that's major, especially when somebody's pulling into it.
It could be big items or it could be small items, like you said. A lot of times it's just when it's sort of the finishing items, cleaning up the outside, cleaning up the exterior, maybe changing the numbers, making it pop a little bit more, and very small things typically. But like you said, people see it as they drive by the home, they'll see the care and the love you've put into it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is I would say the number one something that they could do, even DIY? What's the number one thing that somebody could do to kind of spruce it up?
Honestly, it's clean your driveway, cut the lawn, or maybe reseed, resod some patches if you're missing lawn. I think that's the first thing. People want to see a little bit of green space, some nice driveway that's clean and easy to park on. I think that's the most important thing, and it's very inexpensive. Yeah.
The only thing I have to add to that would be mulch the gardens. If you have gardens in the front, nice clean mulch makes it look so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, what's number 2? Number 2 is outdated interiors. So, this is kind of, it could be good for some people that are looking for a project, looking to spend a little bit less money, but want to put some elbow grease into the house to increase the price because they can't go to that fully renovated budget. But it could. There's all sorts of nuances for this. Is it an outdated kitchen that requires $100,000 worth of work, or is it carpets that you could see where the walking path Like, is it just, ripping up carpet, doing some flooring, maybe a couple $1,000? It could go all the way up to, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It really depends on the house and the location.
Yeah. We always recommend people don't take on a major renovation just before selling. Unless you're flipping a property and that's your intention, it's really not worth often doing a full kitchen renovation just to sell, because you won't get 100% of your investment back. But some of the biggest things with outdated interiors, and especially outdated kitchens, will be things like changing out the hardware, right? Maybe painting the cabinets, changing the pulls on your knobs. Like you said, changing the flooring throughout the house can be maybe not too expensive if you do it in a costly way. And don't pick, materials that are super expensive, but your typical vinyl type flooring that's nice and clean. Yep. But also painting can do such a big difference in when a buyer first walks into the home, how they see it, and kind of making it a little bit more depersonalized.
So what's the first thing that buyers notice when they walk into an outdated house?
The first thing that they notice, honestly, is the smell.
Yeah.
Is the smell. That, yeah. Is it like the old carpets kind of holding sort of some of that dingy-ish smell? And, we talk about people being kind of nose blind to their own homes. That can be a bit challenging, right? You never want to tell somebody their home smells, but, just maybe think about it in terms of, if you were a buyer coming into this home, how does your home smell? If it's outdated, typically, fresh coat of paint, changing the drapes and any of the soft materials in the home will definitely help remove the odors. But I find that's the number one. That's the number one thing people notice.
Yeah, I agree. And that actually, just to skip ahead, that's number 3 on our list, is lingering odors.
Lingering odors.
So, there's all sorts of, just like the smoke smell that you're talking about, or random smells, or, when there was actually a house that I visited. It must have been 2 weeks ago. It was right before my vacation. It was like, you could tell. You walked in and it was like, okay, these people have dogs, and probably a lot of dogs. And it's just like, my clients were just like, we can't. And I'm like, well, you could paint, you can change the carpet, you can even get an ozone machine for a week or two. Things can't help. And there's just like, you can't look past when you're trying to spend, $500,000-$600,000 on a house. If it smells wrong, if it smells awful, then
if it doesn't smell like your house would smell, you'll just be put off. So were your clients totally put off and they didn't change their mind?
We just moved on, and it could have been the perfect house for them, but they just couldn't look past it.
Yeah. But you have some really good suggestions there. There are some small things that you can do as a homeowner to eliminate those smells, like the ozone, cleaning some of the problem areas, maybe cleaning out the carpets, even cleaning the walls sometimes, and the various fabrics, I think, can really help with eliminating odors. Absolutely. What's number 4?
Deferred maintenance.
Ooh, that's a big one.
I feel personally attacked when we talk about deferred maintenance, because I'm like I love to do 90% of the job, but it's like the finishing work.
Yes.
And Mel always gets mad at me when I'm like, come on, I just don't need to paint that one little corner that I forgot to paint when I was doing the project.
But that's the one thing that people will notice.
And it's funny when people are walking through the houses, they're almost walking through as a home inspector. They're they're looking at corners. Why is this wall, or why is this little corner cracked? Why is this tile broken? And it's like the small little things that, we look past on a day-to-day basis because we don't care, because we're living in the house. But when it comes to somebody wanting to spend their hard-earned money on a house, they question these things. Yeah. And the first thing, especially with these little cracks, even if it's hairline, it's like, oh, what if it's the foundation? What if it's like something bigger than, probably it's usually just a settling crack or something, or poor workmanship on a tile job or whatever it is. But it's often like, what's hiding behind this?
Right. So what do you think, one of the things that people could use, I suppose, to get buyers' mindset around all those little items, which often we see coming up in a home inspection, do you find that pre-listing inspections are worth it? Is that something you might suggest to a home seller to provide that to any interested buyers coming through the property?
I feel like I'm Switzerland on the pre-listing and inspection. So I would say they do make sense if the house has an issue, or maybe a couple little things. Maybe it's an older house. I would say do it. It brings up, or I guess it releases a lot of like anxiety, especially when a buyer's going through and being like, okay, this, the home inspector noted this in his report. This is what it's about. This is how serious it is. I would say most of the time it's not needed because the little things usually can be explained by the realtor, or if you do a pre-offer inspection or something. But most of the time we have the experience to be able to be like, okay, this is a settling crack. All houses do it.
Yep.
You know,
It can be tough though, as a realtor, to say to your client, to point out all of those little defects, to be the one to say, maybe you should, caulk these windows, clean this, fix that, do that. So maybe my thought would be, maybe it's good. I mean, it's a little expensive to hire an inspector for your own personal, being a home seller if you've already owned the home, but it can help you pinpoint those things that might come up in someone else's home inspection. So maybe you do a pre-listing inspection just so that you know all the maintenance items to take care of and you can kind of check them off the list, right? Because then you can determine, is this an expensive fix or is it just a very, not costly fix that will have a big impact on the buyer's mindset? So I think it might be helpful in some circumstances, but if you're a home seller or prospective home seller, maybe just try to look at your home from the buyer's perspective and kind of what are all the little things that you've wanted to do but maybe have never done.
And that's a good point. Lots of the home inspectors, especially in Sudbury, are really, really good. And they say that like this home inspection is basically a to-do list. It's not that the house is going to fall down in 3 days and it's going to be 30 to 50 pages long, but it's all just a little to-do list. You can move into the house, you can cross things off the list. But most of it's not serious.
Yeah. Okay. So number 5 on our list of things that make your home unsellable is over personalized decor. So knickknacks, that little niche collection, your china plates, your grandmother's doll collection, perhaps.
Your 75 family pictures on the walls.
Yeah. What do you think about over personalized home decor?
You got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's tough to tell somebody like you have a beautiful family. Obviously it's all over the walls. But this is when somebody comes in, especially when there's pictures on the walls, somebody's going to come in and be like, oh, this is so-and-so's house.
Yes.
But you want them to walk in and be like, oh, this could be our house. But it's almost like an ownership piece. Like, this is like my house. This is my family. So we just tell them, put it in a box, put it in the closet for a little bit in the garage, and just let us for the week or 2 weeks it's on the market right now. After that, you could put them back up if you want before you move. But for right now, we just got to clear it out because it's for sale.
Yeah, I think there's certain elements that are really cool to leave behind that kind of show the personality of the sellers or the personality of the home, kind of like the vibe that you would get sort of living there. So I think there's some things that are very personal that really speak well to sort of how you would live in the home. And I find people are maybe moving away from the sort of gray boxes that are just super boring and unpersonalized. People are looking for, what we're finding lately, I find, is the small spaces that have really funky or interesting wallpaper. Those type, maybe it's like a little powder room or a little nook that someone's decorated just with like a funky kind of wallpaper, something colorful, maybe some shelves in it, displaying maybe like a record display or something cool like that. So I think those types of personal decor items can really kind of give the home personality and can appeal to certain people. Maybe you will eliminate some people from the buyer pool, but I don't think so. I think if it's like good vibe, good personality, it's always good.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the professionals are recommending that they paint the whole house white or a neutral or the millennial gray that we talk about. But I think you're right. Like, especially the little like kind of nooks and crannies and of the house that lots of people don't have the the eye to be able to see it. Leave it the way it is, because chances are it is a really cool piece and it's done the right way. And if it's not, I mean, we would kind of give that advice before we listed the property. But for the most part, I think you're right. Leave the livability in the house, but it's just like the pictures, the knickknacks, the little things, depersonalize those a little bit. But I mean, walls, paint, floor, desks, leave those.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap it up, those are, 5 fairly easy DIY-able things that, make your house a little bit more sellable when it goes on the market. So don't take it personally when your realtor tells you that your home needs a little refreshing or you got to cut the grass or these things. We're just trying to help you, get the most money, go the best bang for your buck when you're selling your place.
Yeah, and hopefully you know now what to watch out for. Thanks so much for joining us today on the TNT podcast. Hopefully you have found a few key takeaways to help you strategize on selling your home faster and avoiding a home that lingers on the market for weeks and months. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a comment and share it with somebody else who's interested in learning more about real estate. Until next time, stay ahead in real estate. Thanks for tuning into the TNT podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave us a comment, subscribe, and share with a friend who might be interested in real estate.
We'll catch you next time, and until then, stay ahead in real estate.